Hello, I'm Carrie Schilling from Kettering Health Network's Community Outreach Department. I'm here to talk with you today about gratitude. Gratitude is practice we can put into our lives that can bring us greater health and wellness and well-being. Gratitude can be an expression of gratefulness. I'm grateful for. It can also be an emotion of gratefulness. I am grateful when. But gratitude is something some people just carry with them. It's just a natural part of their personality. For others, it is something that can be cultivated. With that cultivation comes benefits. And there's actually a pretty solid amount of research right now to demonstrate the benefit of something as simple as saying thank you. So gratitude is associated with a number of different experiences. Experiencing more positive emotions. And we know positive affirmations is a phrase that we've all heard through the years. Experiencing those positive emotions brings on less cortisol, the stress hormone, and more endorphins and the feel-good hormones, the feel-good neurotransmitters. So simply making a conscious decision to bring ourselves into a positive emotional state has significant health benefits, significant mental health and well-being benefits. I believe the health benefits, the improved health that comes from gratitude, comes from reducing that cortisol, reducing the stress hormones, the fight or flight hormones, and bringing us into more of a rest and digest state. Reducing those stress hormones and enhancing the feel-good hormones, the endorphins, the feel-good neurotransmitters. So embracing that attitude of gratitude can bring us into that more calm state where our bodies can be in better homeostasis. Gratitude can bring us just a more enjoyment in our life experiences. We can see the positives in those life experiences. There was a study done some time ago that the study itself had nothing to do with gratitude, but it was a study on college students where they had these college students play Tetris for multiple hours every day. And as a result of that playing Tetris for hours, and as you recall, Tetris is the game where you have all these distinct shapes and they fall and you have to put them in place to fill in the spaces. What happened was these college students, as they left the study, they left the lab, they went out into life, what they reported was they were seeing these Tetris shapes in everything they looked at. Street signs, on packages at the grocery store. They saw these Tetris shapes just in life. I think that's what we find with gratitude. When we're looking for things to be thankful for, we see the positives in any experience. We more clearly identify the things to be joyful for in front of us because we're looking for those positives. Even if we're not at that moment, it just becomes more our nature to find the positive aspects of our life experiences. And then we can take more enjoyment in those. We find more joy. Some of the research studies demonstrate that folks that just have that more natural attitude of gratitude, that's just a part of their personality, they experience stronger relationships. Their relationships with their significant others, with their children, with their work partners. They just have more meaningful interpersonal relationships in their lives. It doesn't mean that they become extroverts and they have a huge number of friends, but it means the friendships and the relationships that they have are deeper. They're stronger in connection. Stronger coping skills when facing hardships. These folks tend to be more resilient. When we are faced with difficulties, as we all are in times of our lives faced with greater difficulties, these folks tend to be more resilient. They tend to bounce back more quickly. They tend to go through their grieving period or go through their anger and frustration period with that difficulty and process through that and get to the other side of the difficulty or the trauma more quickly and with a greater sense of strength and preparedness to go on beyond that difficult time. And these are for folks that, again, they're just naturally, as part of their personality, they have that grateful element to who they are, but it can be cultivated. It can be something that we start to incorporate into our lives. The biology behind this, what's happening with the gratitude, there's two areas of the brain that are being affected. And those two areas of the brain are the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus regulates stress. That's the area of the brain that plays a significant role in that fight or flight response, in that rest and digest response. That hypothalamus is seen in the picture in red. And the ventral tegmental area. And the ventral tegmental area is the area that influences the brain's reward system. It produces those feelings of pleasure. It can be referred to as the bliss area of the brain. And so we're activating these two areas of the brain by consciously making a decision to seek out pleasure, to seek out gratefulness and gratitude. So how do we go about doing that? How do we cultivate that gratitude? How do we make that more a part of who we are so it's natural and becomes that looking for Tetris signs, that we just see those. We just see the areas of our life that are worthy of joy and thankfulness. First off is journaling. Just write it down. And I hesitate every time I say journaling because I know that triggers, that in itself is a trigger of stress for people. We often hear that we benefit from journaling, but journaling is one more thing to add to our day. And so I would encourage you to think of journaling as just jotting things down. It doesn't have to be a big journal entry. It doesn't have to be a practice where you set aside a certain time of day and write in a certain journal and do a certain ritual around it. Take away that layer of stress for yourself and just write it down. Once a day, maybe multiple times a day, whatever works for you, and jot it down somewhere. There is something that happens in the brain when we write down a thought. We're bringing in left brain function, right brain function together, and it allows us to process things in a more thorough way. So that simple act of jotting down, write the words on paper of the things that you're grateful for. There's a study that demonstrates they had a group of folks write down 4 things they were thankful for every night before they went to bed or every morning when you wake up. But every day, write down 4 things you're thankful for. Just a bullet, 3 to 5 words, write down what you're thankful for. There was another study that looked at folks who would spend a significant amount of time once a week writing about 4 things they were grateful for. So the 4 things again, but they were going to take, 40, 50 minutes to sit down, really elaborate, really explain why they were grateful, really get into that emotion of gratefulness and the whys and hows behind it. What they found was both groups benefited significantly from the writing that down, journaling that, whether it was daily or once a week. However, there was actually some extended benefit for the folks that took the time, the extended amount of time once a week to write everything down. Those benefits seemed to last longer after the study was over. However, both parties benefited. So if you tend to be someone who enjoys elaborating and writing that all out, maybe once a week is the thing for you. If you're someone who does things on the fly, on the go, and don't want to have to add something else to your schedule, then write it on a napkin while you're waiting for your food in the restaurant. It doesn't really matter whether you keep that. It doesn't matter. That journal doesn't have to be something that's accumulative. There's benefit to that, but it's more important that you do it. Find a writing utensil and jot it down on whatever's closest to you. Maybe that's when something occurs. As it occurs, jot it down. Perhaps that's once a day and you do have a time that you try to do it. As you're waiting for dinner to be cooked, as you're settling in for the night to sleep, whatever that is. And there's benefits to different practices. Doing it is the important part. So start there. So if we start to write things down, we start to journal things that we're grateful for and keep it simple, 3, 4, 5 things. And then of course the expression of gratitude, saying thank you. Set a goal for yourself. 5 times a day, I'm going to say thank you to someone, whether it's somebody who opened the door for you, coworkers who did some project, the person who's baking your groceries in the grocery store. It doesn't matter. Say thank you to a set number of people throughout the day. Just bringing that vocabulary to our forefront of our mind starts to invoke those feelings. So saying thank you, or again, writing out thank you notes. And those thank you notes never need to be sent. But write the thank you notes to the people who were meaningful in your life, to someone who did something thoughtful for you today, for someone who just did a good job, or someone who you think just needs a little boost to their own health and well-being. Write that thank you note. And again, you can deliver that thank you note or you cannot. But the benefit to you is that you've taken the time to focus that attention and that awareness on writing that thank you note. And then a gratitude meditation. Gratitude meditation is simply sitting quietly with a thought of a person or something positive about the day or in your day. So finding that moment, and it doesn't need to be an extended amount of time. It can be simply sitting at your desk, sitting in your chair. It can be sitting in your car for a moment before you get out to start your day. But find that moment to sit quietly with a thought of a person or a thing or a situation that you're grateful for. So I would encourage you now, if you're interested, find a comfortable position, preferably both feet on the floor. But beyond that, whatever's comfortable for and honoring your body and what you need for comfort. And bring to mind a person that brings you comfort, a person that you're thankful for. I'm thankful for this person. Perhaps bring to mind a memory of that person, a good time that you had in life. I'm thankful for that experience. Perhaps bring to mind that comfortable chair you're sitting in, or the warmth of the room, the comfort, or your comfortable shoes, or that hot cup of coffee. I'm thankful for this thing. And finally, an attribute about yourself that you like, that you see as your strength. I'm thankful for this gift. That simple practice of gratitude can bring us enhanced health, wellness, and well-being. Thank you for joining me today.